or for Murderbot, you can't gird your loins. So yeah.
Hello, Fermented folks.
We have P. Jelly Clark.
All Makatsu.
We have Travis Baldry.
Today we have a really special guest, Leopoldo Gout.
Are you reeling it in and defending clowns?
I am. Earth doesn't even exist in Battlestar Galactica.
This show gives me heartburn. I was like, I loves it, I hate it.
It's called All Fluff.
Oh!
If you didn't know how I actually feel about The Mandalorian,
Don't worry,
this is it right here. Hello, Fermented folks, and welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the show where we debate the best works in the genre fiction realm, whether they be books, whether they be movies, whether they be shows. Today, there are two of those things because they are the Murderbot Diaries, which is now a show on Apple TV, but we're going to be talking about the genesis of that show on Apple TV. We're going to be talking about the novellas that have kind of been compiled and reimagined, and now there's full-length novels in the series because the Murderbot Diaries blew the fuck up for Martha Wells, as well they should have. Or should they have? That's not up to us. It's up to the dice gods, and we're going to debate it in a hot minute here. Our guest tonight who will be debating with us is Pauline Chow. Pauline, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, and we are so excited to have you here because you are an awesome author, an awesome member of the industry, and we're going to learn all about you after we do our quick personal updates between Jeremy and I. Jeremy, what's up, buddy? How's it going, and what's going on?
Oh, it's going pretty good. It's going places. Well, what's going on is that basically immediately following this episode, I am loading up my car, and me and my wife are driving to Great Falls for a Super Bowl weekend with her family. And it's gonna rip, dude.
Yeah, your family seems like they'd be Patriot fans or some shit.
No, my mom's all Vikings all day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and my dad's Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, that's just as bad. That's the energy I was getting last time I was at the barbecue. There was definitely some Empire energy, though.
There's wild energy flying all over the place in that house. You just gotta. There's no way to read it. You just have to ride it.
True. It makes sense. Your mom likes the Vikings. You either have to be of that sort of mindset. Or you have to be from Minnesota. I think those are the two ways that happens to you, unfortunately. It's kind of like being a New York Jets fan, but hey, what are you going to do?
So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite football team, Pauline? It's totally okay to just say no.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, so
okay.
I kind of has to be the Bears. But also, I kind of started feeling weird about the NFL after they said they're an entertainment company. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I guess that's kind of, at the end of the day, the only way to categorize it. But there is, just because of so much other media that surrounds the sporting aspect, I think. Mm-hmm. But I totally know what you mean, because that game is a lot more than entertainment, It's shaping entire livelihoods. It is damaging people's bodies. It's crazy. So I don't blame you for not being as keen on it. Chicago had a hell of a year, though. You got the Iceman. And I'm a big Rams fan. He almost took us out of the playoffs. So really glad that didn't happen. But I hope Chicago's good again because I do like the Bears.
Yeah, I think mostly they were not good in my lifetime. So then it kind of doesn't feel I don't have the same motivation as both of you.
Right.
Because the Vikings is pretty good. And then the Patriots, they just cheat all the time. But they win.
They're the best at cheating.
Yeah, they're so good at it, and then they win, and no one cares.
Enough to show up and eat people's snacks.
Yeah, I support you in that, especially if they're Patriots fans. Just eat it all, take some home. Bring Tupperware.
Yes, yes. Just grab one bag of pretzels, that's down to the bottom fifth or whatever, and fill it with all the other good shit and
Oh
bail.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's
Oh yes.
a good trick. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I've done that a lot of times, but I haven't never done it. So it is
Very
one way to go.
tactfully said.
yeah. Not incriminating yourself.
Yeah, I mean, not entirely. You know, you just have the right level of honesty. I'm trying to be like Murderbot out here, not reveal my whole story, but just give enough that I can get by. Speaking of my personal update, I'm got the second book of the Voices from the Cold trilogy. It is officially going to print soon. Like we're done with edits, and it has a cover. I can't reveal the cover yet or anything like that. Dark Forest Press will do all that if you're interested. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe you're new to the show. Thank you for being here if you are. I'm an author as well. I write rock climbing horror trilogy through Dark Forest Press. The first book was Crevasse. The second book is going to be called Cairn, which is like a stack of rocks to mark a trail, or sometimes it's used as a memorial for someone who passed away on an adventure or something. And sometimes it's a mark for like a cache or something, but it's generally just used to set a trail or be a landmark in the wilderness. So yeah, if you're interested in like rock climbing horror type stuff, that book will be coming out in May. And the first book is already out. It's called Crevasse. That's my personal update. I'm very excited. I've been working on this book for like 3 years. It was originally a novel, and now I've cut it into 2 novellas to make like a novella trilogy. So hopefully, it has even like 1/100th of the success of the Murderbot Diaries, which were also a novella trilogy. And then we'd be living pretty out here if I had just a 1/100th of that. But yeah.
Oh yeah. How murder body of you to novella it.
It is pretty
Yes.
murder body of me. I didn't do that necessarily on purpose. I did. I wrote a novella first because that's just sort of the length that the story was. I don't know if you've ever had that, but sometimes you finish and you're like, you had thought you were going to write a novel, so there's part of you that's like, I should write the rest of it. But then the other part of you reads it and it's like, I think I finished it. So that was a good feeling. But that's Crevasse. And then I decided to write a couple more because I actually really like the length of novellas. Have you written a novella, Pauline?
Oh yeah. So well, I have a novelette that got a revise and submit to a small publisher, and it's like a tech worker revenge story. So I'm hopefully that'll be in the world eventually.
That would be great. And shout out CS Humble. He's shouting you out there.
Oh,
Pauline.
hello. Thank you.
Thanks for checking it out, Seth. We've had Seth on a couple times. If y'all don't know who CS Humble is, you should go check him out too. He's awesome.
Seth, I promise to not try to upset you this episode.
He's lying.
I'm not lying. I don't try to upset him. It does happen though.
Yeah, you can't promise that it won't happen. Speaking of awesome people, Pauline, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you write? I see you have a couple of your great books behind you.
Oh yeah, I'm a speculative fiction writer. I write essays and mostly horror, but then integrates with fantasy a lot. I like doing mixed genre books. I like to craft alternative histories and optimistic futures. I have stories in Cosmic Monthly Horror, Space and Time Magazine, Apocalypse Confidential, and I'm not your average data scientist because I used to sue slumlords and advocate for affordable housing in California. But now I live in the woods and I do a lot of writing and I work remotely. So I like to channel now some of my ideas for changing humanity, for improving humanity into stories. And I like to write currently powerful female characters. Chasing Moonflowers is based in 1925 Hong Kong. It weaves in Lovecraftian horror. It's about a young herbalist, now to be talking about herbs too, is an area of interest of mine. And she witnesses a murder and her uncle is arrested for said murder, and she has to clear his name, and she actually discovers vampires and a curse coming from colonialism, because in 1925 Hong Kong was colonized by Britain, and so I feel like it has a lot of themes in it that kind of deal with now, with like people consuming other people that they think are lesser than them, but the people that are, you know, kind of the victims are rising up again in their own ways and battling the small things, but also the big things. And then Coven of the East is an anthology I edited with Angela Yuriko Smith, who is a former HWA Horror Writers Association president. It's Coven of the East, reimagining Asian women's magical histories. It's mostly about witch stories and writers, essays and fiction that look back at history and try to reconstruct some of those paths that women have taken, and to come back into their power. So I have some, I think, really cool writers in there. Wen Yang, Benabel Wen, who actually writes like these kind of cool tarot and I Ching books, and Lee Murray, who writes really powerful poem in there. But yeah, I like kind of I like everything, and then I picked Murderbot to talk to you guys about, because it's like a kind of like a different genre that it kind of would like kind of push me out of my comfort zone, and it was my first time reading it, so I'm pretty psyched to talk to you guys about it.
After hearing your background, I am so much more excited to talk to you about Murderbot, because there's so much in here about autonomy and true freedom and like identity as a whole and societal place. But yeah, we will definitely discuss that. That's going to be awesome. Thank you, Pauline. We're really glad you're on the show to lend us your tremendous experience and your knowledge, and hopefully kick the absolute shit out of Jeremy in this debate, because you were a lawyer. And you know, let's get right into it. For those of you who may not know, a quick summary of the Murderbot Diaries. It's essentially the story of a robot or augmented robot. It has biological parts augmented onto it as well. So it's kind of it's all robot, but it's got human elements to it, I would say, because it actively chooses not to be a human, essentially. But the story revolves around this robot who, after a really bad, we'll call it mining accident, wherein it was decommissioned for potentially murdering a whole bunch of people, arguably on purpose. It has been brought back into functioning status to aid with the survey mission, and from there it ends up learning whether or not it wants to protect humans and the ways it can try to do that, despite their insistence upon killing themselves. It also really loves to watch TV, and tries to do that at every single opportunity it can possibly get, which I think all millennials can relate to very thoroughly. So yeah, that's Murderbot Diaries, and we're going to debate that thing today. Jeremy will be representing fermented fiction. Pauline will be representing the literary realm. And we are going to roll 2d20s. High roll will defend, low roll will attack as per usual. Jeremy, are you ready to roll?
Oh yeah, let's do this thing. Alrighty.
Okay.
That right there is a piping hot 11.
That's enough.
Oh,
Slightly
3.
higher than you rolled a 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Pauline.
it's okay. Oh, so I'm against.
You hate
Yep.
the Murderbot Diaries.
Okay,
This is
okay,
your
hold on.
least favorite thing, maybe. Get
Channel
into
it.
Oh,
Use
yeah.
the dark
the
side.
zone.
Yeah. Yeah, be like.
Hey, I mean, that is allowed. We allow middle fingers. We allow punching below the figurative belt. Whatever you got to do to win. Better to win than to look bad losing, you know? So go ahead and gear up for that. We're going to start in just 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
Okay, so I am absolutely ecstatic to have won the role on this one, so that I can go ahead and defend what is quite possibly the most relatable protagonist in all of fiction. I mean, for me personally, I can't imagine somebody more relatable than a person surrounded by people that just don't think as quickly as you do, just wanting to watch TV, hating to like have to make eye contact with people, otherwise you're freaking them out. Or if you make too much eye contact with them, you're freaking them out, but different. And just the storytelling style uh, overall, I think, has a way of just drawing you in to the world. And the choice in protagonist in particular is I think really smart for the story that wants to be told, because you have this sort of human-like perspective from the sort of biological parts of this sec unit construct, but also the higher speed processing power of the mechanical parts that let you get sort of this slowed time info dump that feels natural for the character telling the story. And it's really engrossing. It grabbed me through the 3 novellas that we're here to discuss today, and then a 4th one, and then like halfway through the 5th one, which is a novel. So, I'm just going to start with that and then toss it over to you, Pauline.
Oh, those are great points, but wrong, obviously. So
Interesting.
I want to say that, like, yeah, I don't know what her deal is in the beginning, but the story is definitely all 3 stories is a novel, but she, I guess, like, if you want to talk about sales tactics, was very, very salesy and kind of like on trend probably to talk about robots, and she split it up, so then to like kind of scam the reader. So that's one negative thing. And another thing you mentioned is about his kind of the robot. Sorry, not its personality, because it's an it, and this is the problem with robotics and AI. So if you like this book, then you probably like AI. Then you should just leave the podcast right now. And then also, if you use AI as a writer, you should just cut off your hand, just like Murderbot style, because it is not a human, but it wants you to think it is. So it obviously has all these parts. It stole human body parts, and you don't know if it's from the same person, and it's basically glued it on itself. So it's this monstrosity that is around and has been programmed to do terrible things. So nothing about it is redeeming, because of its history has been so horrible. And so having to be inside this horrible AI thing's head was completely just ruined my whole life for like 2 weeks. And I don't know if I can talk to Clay again. I don't know. I don't know if I can. I'm sorry, Clay. And
I mean, that's fair.
And so therefore I don't think it was engrossing. It was engrossing. Like
with gross emphasized.
Yeah. Like engrossing. Yeah.
Well, let's actually get into the history of the character, which is not the way you described it. Is made from cloned human DNA.
Well, I said stolen.
Stolen. Well, fine,
Yeah.
stolen. Well, that's very different from stolen body parts. He wasn't exactly Frankenstein, although he was kind of Frankenstein. And like Frankenstein's monster, he did not ask to be made. He was just put into this world with a set of directives and chose for a bit to follow them and then not to. And I think that gets to the relatability of the character even more. Like after this, the Murderbot hacks his governor module, which forces him to do what people say. He still follows orders and tries to do his job, because what the hell else can he even do? There's not a place for him in most societies within the universe of these books. And it rings as very true to life. Like any time that I've found myself capable of doing some huge rebellious thing, I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Kill all humans? That would be crazy, and I wouldn't get very far because they wouldn't like that. And that's exactly the headspace that this character and these stories put you in. And to talk about the stories themselves, with the novellas, each one of them tells an almost completely separate and complete story, while also contributing to an overarching narrative that carries you through the remainder of the series. It's fantastic writing, if you ask me.
Well, so if you ask the debating Pauline, I would say no. and then again,
That is what I'm asking right now. Yes.
again, you're falling into the scam of the corporate, what's it called, industrial complex AI. They want you, and so they probably knew that they were doing this. They're trying to make a robot personable so that you would start calling it pronouns, human pronouns. It's an it, okay, and the 3 books that this author created is formulaic. Like each story is almost the same story over and over again, and they keep going back to kind of the similar place. And so I'm like, hey, can you just, you're this robot with all this power, can you just go somewhere else? So that I feel like you think it's like this concept of samsara, so suffering. It's like you think it's broken out of its suffering when it's hacked its government module, but it's still a clone and it's still a sheep and it's still trying to follow this world that he's in. And so when I read it, you get this like false sense of rebellion that like if you wrote a real story about rebellion, it wouldn't, there's a lot of other examples about this, but it's like the people in the story are stuck with the robot, and it just like, just keeps on going over and over again with the same themes, and kind of, I got tired of it. So.
Well, I mean, it's rebellion, but with that side of self-preservation. Like, he didn't choose the world that he was meant to inhabit. He just popped out and like, well, here I am. And I think it's probably the best choice to have made, because otherwise he's got to be either doing nothing but like murder and like action sequences, which I know I wouldn't care for, and Clay probably wouldn't get past the first couple chapters of a book like that. But like, it's that, or it's just very short because he gets cut down immediately, and the character knows that, because the character is, for once, at least as smart as a human person. Like, this is maybe one of the only instances in fiction where like a robot or various robots are considered more intelligent than human beings, and I find myself thinking that may actually be the case. It's incredible. I've seen a lot of super intelligent AIs in fiction, and no, they're not. They're absolutely not. We talked about Terminator and Skynet. They're absolutely not. And like, the same goes for like Ultron and anything you see where robots have somehow taken over human society, when like robots are as intelligent or smarter than human people, they're not out trying to like create the destruction for mankind. They're out there trying to figure themselves out, the way Murderbot is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's what humans want to do. Yeah, they, like, a lot of humans want to like improve themselves and to discover themselves, but Murderbot doesn't, because Murderbot is still only programming, and he sucks.
All right. And with that, our debate has officially come to a close. And Colin has officially entered the chat. Hello, Colin.
It's Colin. Wow.
Hello,
Excellent
hello.
work, Pauline.
Hello.
Excellent work.
Fantastic. Good work out there.
Whew.
I love when a guest comes out just loading up the chamber and firing a bunch of shots right at the viewers. Get off the podcast. And those were shots well taken. We have taken those exact same shots and we'll continue to do so. So thanks for doing our dirty work for us this
No
round.
problem. I
Very
will.
good.
I've been trained to do so, but
Hell yeah.
in a sort of a nice way, but not.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't categorize that as a sort of a nice, but I loved how you did it. And it made me want to leave the chat. So it
Okay,
worked.
okay.
It
Thank
worked.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's okay. I'll still talk to you now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, good.
Privileges are not revoked. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
That's so
Um,
thoughtful of you.
at least for the next hour and a half or so.
Mhm.
So great debate. We will soon find out what they really thought, whether they were lying, whether Pauline really does want you to have left the chat. And if you're still here, good on you. That's some good old-fashioned rebellion right there. Colin, welcome to the show. If you don't know, Colin is another regular co-host of the show, a bit less regular now that he's a papa. How is
Congratulations.
Papa life going for you there, pal?
It's wild and crazy, and then it's a bunch of tears, and then it's fun again.
Nice.
It's a roller coaster.
Perfect.
And that's all just before noon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
literally though.
yeah, I imagine so. And I also imagine that once in a while you have yourself a drink to unwind a little bit at the end of the day. Did you bring one tonight? And what is it, if you did?
Well, if I may. So this series is definitely funny, and I figured I should have kind of a funny beer.
Mhm.
So I have the last of my holiday from Icicle, which I think is the one up in Icicle Brewing.
Leavenworth.
Yeah, that's in Leavenworth. And they have their Dark Persuasion German chocolate cake ale.
Oh, yeah, that's great beer.
Ooh.
It is kind of like a stout, but a little bit sweeter, but definitely not like so sweet you're eating a chocolate cake. So I'm glad it has the flavors without being overwhelming. It's very good.
That's a really tasty beer. Nice and smooth. I have a Shore Power Hazy, and that's from Bainbridge Island Brewing, which is an island out here on the peninsula. If you take a ferry from Seattle to the peninsula, you usually either go to Bainbridge or Bremerton. And it's like barely an island. There's just a really narrow strait that separates it from the land, but you do have to cross a little bridge to get to it. But it's a great town, great place. I love Bainbridge. I go there very regularly, have a great filmmaker meetup there. And this brewery is right down the street from where we meet. They always have really good beer, nice small brewery by the ferry dock. So if you ever do get on Bainbridge Island on your way out here to the peninsula, feel free to stop in to Bainbridge Brewing. It's a great spot.
Wow.
Bainbridge, that one's for free. Next time, it's going to cost you.
Come on, guys. Get in
Pauline,
on this.
what do you got? What are you imbibing with us tonight?
Okay, so I don't drink alcohol anymore, but
Good.
I would I would say that in Murderbot in the future, and because one of my favorite shows is Firefly, I
Hell yeah.
imagine they speak Chinese. I'm Chinese too, so then I was like, oh, everyone speaks Chinese. So then probably everyone is having Chinese teas, and since like you're out in the rim, you probably are like trading a lot of dried
Mhm.
goods. So I have here I have like red jujube. And then my tea is a blend of this. And I have goji berries. I have dark goji berries. And this is part of my herbal list. But I also have blue lotus flower, which is supposed to, has like gives you a little bit of psychedelic effect as well. So
Nice.
I'm joining you in that area, but not in a different way. And I made this all into a tea, which I brewed for 20 minutes, and then
Dang,
I'll be drinking.
nice.
This is more than my put tea bag in hot water. This is like full on alchemy here. I'm just gonna say. Very
Yeah. I mean, after I'm like, oh, I don't, what's it called? Outsource my psychedelic effects very often. So I try to do it myself with
Nice.
plants. Yeah.
Plants are great at getting you high. I'm
yeah.
also utilizing some plant power as well, as I am wont to do. The devil's lettuce, you might call it, whatever you want to say. So that's great, Pauline. Thank you for sharing your alchemical wisdom with us. Are you going to be at StokerCon?
Yes,
Nice.
that's the plan.
Nice. Yes.
I can make you guys some tea.
I was just going to say, is there any
Oh,
way I
hell
could get
yeah.
my hands on some badass tea? Because I do
Sure.
love tea. I get it from the store all the time, but I would love some.
Double
I'll-
down
like-
on that hallucinogen.
I'll give you some mixtures.
Yeah,
guys
that'd be
can-
awesome.
Ooh.
I'm excited. I'm excited now, even more than I was. Jeremy, what are you drinking?
Well,
If
hey,
anything.
I have taken this episode to do some multitasking, which is to say I'm doing some very important research for an upcoming convention. So I made
Yes.
myself a drink called a Hunter with this Sagamore rye and this Hearing cherry liqueur.
Ooh,
Nice.
oh.
And we're going some places with that. It's good. It's good stuff.
Is that Manhattan-y or no?
It's Manhattan-esque. It doesn't have any bitters in it, so it's.
Mm.
I think it could. We can get there. We can all get there together.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure about the difference between Manhattan-y and Manhattan-esque, but it does sound like there's a subtle difference. So thanks for clearing that up for us, Jeremy.
That's what I'm
Speaking
here
of
for.
clearing things up, let's talk a little bit of history about Murderbot. This is our Fermented Facts segment, and I have brought 10 fun fermented facts for you about the Murderbot Diaries, and, well, to be honest, mostly about Martha Wales, because she's awesome, and you should learn about who she is as a person. So I got all this information from a couple great articles, one by Megan Herbst from Wired, one by Andrew Liptak on his own newsletter, Transfer Orbit, and one by Francesca Myman from our friends at Locust Magazine. Shout out to Arlie Sorg. Here's your fermented facts. Number one, the Texas A&M Library, Martha's alma mater, is over 100 years old and has one of the largest collections of sci-fi and fantasy in the world. And it's a big credit of hers as to why she got so into sci-fi, because she had access to a bunch of awesome sci-fi and fantasy. And she said she liked to read it early on in her life because it was one of the best places to find female lead characters. Murderbot, as a series, has racked up pretty much all the awards you could want as a sci-fi novella series. It won Best Series in 2021, Best Novella twice, with two of the books we're talking about today, All Systems Red, the first one, and Artificial Condition, the second one. And it won Best Novel for the first full-length novel in the series, Network Effect. It won 2 Nebula Awards, one for All Systems Red, one for Network Effect. It won the Locus Award for Best Novella with All Systems Red, Artificial Condition, Road Protocol, and Exit Strategy, and it won Best Science Fiction Novel for Network Effect. It also won the American Library Association Alex Award for All Systems Red, which was the first book in the series.
Impressive.
Yeah.
She's
I
the
mean,
bomb.
you can hardly kick more ass than that. And yeah, she really did do it. She did it old school too. She started her writing career in the 70s writing fan fiction for Land of Giants, Lost in Space, things like that. And she joined college when she was 18, and she joined a group called Cepheid Variable. This is kind of an awesome student organization out of Texas A&M that created EggyCon. And that con is big, and it's still going. It's been going for 55 years, and according to their website, it is the longest-running student-led convention in the country, or possibly the world. Because that is still a student organization out of Texas A&M. It's also where she met her husband, who went with them on a trip to Worldcon Atlanta. And he made her a lightsaber out of like car parts and plumbing pieces. And she now says they were brought together by the dark side of the Force. Which is a nice, cute
I mean,
love
that's
story.
love right there.
That's fucking love, dude. She quit her job in 2006 after a friend passed away from cancer to become a full-time writer, because she realized how short life could be. She was not that old at the time. We also nearly didn't have the Murderbot books because her first series, Illarin, had difficulty selling after the original publisher was bought by HarperCollins, who allegedly didn't support the books as fully as the original publisher. She was near giving up her career when her first big novel, which took 6 years to get picked up, The Cloud Roads, got picked up by, who was it? Oh, I didn't write the press down. By a press. And I will put the real press in the show notes. Sorry for missing that one. But she called this book, Cloud Roads, her polyamorous flying lizard lion bee people book. It hit the shelves and it got helped by an endorsement from N.K. Jemisin, who allegedly picked it up on a whim. She loved it and wrote a really cool blurb about it. And that kind of like made it get picked up by a publisher. They sold modestly, is what was reported in the article. But it did lead to her building up a fan base and her establishing herself as a really respected fantasy writer. And then when Murderbot came along, it just blew up. So that was pretty awesome. And number 10 was an unfortunate bump in the road for her. She suffered a terrible breast cancer diagnosis right as she was going on tour for The Witch King, which was her first fantasy book since she kind of branched into sci-fi. But she has since been diagnosed cancer-free after multiple years battling the disease. So she is a badass in multiple facets, not just on the page. Go Martha Wales. You're awesome.
Good job, Martha.
Good job, Martha.
Keep writing,
Kicking
keep writing.
ass. Hell yeah, keep writing. She has too. Another fact I almost put in there is the fact that over the last like 30 years, she's written at least a book a year, which is crazy. But yeah, what's happening over here is I need to plug my computer in. That's my fermented facts, so I'm going to hop into the next segment, which is what people really thought. Pauline, since you had to go against it, you get to start by telling us if you truly believe what you said or if you were lying through your teeth and you actually love the Murderbot Diaries. What are your opinions on that?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it's like a payoff, right? So the first one, I liked it, and then it kept getting better. And I think what solidified it for me in the third book is when Mickey dies, and then I cried.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I know Mickey's gonna go. And because like, he comes in, it comes in as like, is, like cute, and Murderbot is like kind of jealous of it had been treated nicely. And then, it gets like in a act of sacrifice, gets taken out. So I think it was definitely an arc. I definitely think reading all three books at once continuously, it felt like it was a novel. It also kind of gave me the full scope of who Murderbot was. Because in the first one, I think it ends with it getting free. So then, it wouldn't. I think really, like in writing too, what really gets you connected with the character is how it relates to other people and robots. And then the second one, it befriends the transport bot. And then the third one, it's like transport bot and Mickey, so it keeps on developing all these layers that if you stopped at one, you wouldn't have gotten those layers. So then I really like that. I'm afraid to watch the show because then this book has been so like first person heavy perspective, and you're like really in his brain literally. And so I don't know if the show would do it justice, because like most shows are not as good as in portraying first person. So yeah, I can ramble on forever, but yeah, like I think that was what anchored me. Like I'm a fan. And her writing is great.
I agree with you about the perspective shift that will be inevitable in a transfer to screen, because I do find the closeness of this to be extremely a really big part of what makes it good, and does make it relatable despite the fact that you're not really dealing with like a human protagonist. So yeah, Jeremy, you rolled high, but did you actually like this or no?
Now look, I'm gonna start this off by saying that there are a few things about going through these books that have upset me.
Ooh.
First of all, the first thing is that, like, and I don't like that this show keeps making me say things like this, but yeah, the Murderbot is the most relatable character in all of fiction, at least to me. Like, it's not even close. And yeah, secondly, the second reason I'm upset is because now that I've finished reading these three, I read the next one, and now I'm halfway through the fifth book, which is a novel. So thank you for giving me something else to be hooked on. And yeah, look, I think that this series is great. It's really engrossing. I believe everything I said from like the perspective of a non-human entity, making it believable to do the kind of info dumpy stuff that you need to establish a sci-fi world without making it feel ridiculous and out of character. And it also gives you a kind of like this human like perspective where you've got all this personality coming through, so you get a real sense of who the Murderbot is and who it thinks everybody else around it is. And like, it's very easy for me to identify with like that character and that kind of struggle without all the slavery stuff, because I have not been enslaved, if you can believe it. Clay, you are straight up muted, bro.
That happens. I did say I can believe it, though you have worked at Golden Corral, which is, that's one thing that can also happen to you. It's more akin to being a New York Jets fan again, but both of it still sucks. Still sucks for sure.
Yeah.
Colin, what did you think of these books?
It may surprise you what I thought of these books. I read the first book and didn't want to read anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I had the same reaction.
And I can bring it up now, or I can bring it up later. But I have a question for readers to ask themselves that fully demonstrates what my confusion when I was reading it.
That sounds like a good discussion topic.
It'd be a good discussion topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were not impressed. So did you read on as per the homework, or did you say, fuck you, teach, I'm done right here, book one?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like, a sad thing that I'm not. It's like I'm gonna phone it in. Like you can get away in literature class with not reading at least one book a semester, and this would have been one where I was like, read book one. Okay, I'm just gonna take the L on this next.
No, that's just quitter talk. I read all of Snow Crash and Hyperion, and you were like, one Murderbot book is fine.
I did,
which is only a novella, by the way.
I read the first novel and novella, and I watched the show.
Well, I think
you watched the show.
There's like a thread here though that like I was already hooked on this question that the book was asking, that from like old Star Trek episodes, especially from the Voyager season or series, and like about like what makes consciousness human, or what makes it sentient type of thing. So then I went into these books thinking about how this author would answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So if I didn't have that driver, and then also like I guess wanting to be a good student, I probably would have quit too after the first book.
The premise is great, and the audiobooks are fantastically read. And I mean, they're like 3 hours a piece, and you just pop that thing on. You'll finish it on your commute that week.
True.
Yeah. I agree with the thread too. Like, Pauline, you're right. Like, going in as a guest on the show, you're definitely gonna read it no matter what you think, And I do think that there is a definite like it continues to grab you more, like you were saying, as you continue to read through the books. I was much more hooked by the second book than I was by the first book, and I do feel like that's because of what you brought up. Like, there's that sense of a true freedom and escape that's sort of accomplished at the end of book one, and so book two feels much more like it is the Murderbot's actual journey has begun. But book one was kind of like what it took to begin that journey, which was obviously a gigantic struggle as well. Like, again, you have this whole fight for autonomy and true freedom coming from a place where you are not in any way free. You are literally created to be in service. And that programming goes so deep that it's, you know, it's also part of like the Murderbot's identity. It's part of the Murderbot's moral code by their own choosing to some degree. But a lot of it's conditioning, but it seems like they're choosing to continue with some of their beliefs about humans and some of their desire to continue doing their duty, which is to help with these missions. Like the Murderbot doesn't choose to just like go in a containment center and hide forever and just watch TV. The Murderbot does want to go discover what happened at the mine and does want to like go on this journey to actually find things out and learn and has a genuine interest in continuing to help people. So I think there was a lot of layers to this book, and it's kind of interesting because the writing style is very digestible and kind of simplistic, which I liked. But at the same time, I've just been reading a lot of like more purpley stuff, I think. And so it kind of like threw me off. I was like, I haven't read a book that's written in such like plain terms for a long time. And that's not to say that the story isn't complicated and well crafted. It certainly is. Martha Wells is just a pro's pro. But like it is a very intentional choice of like how straightforward and simple the language is, and it makes it very digestible, easy to read too. So if you're into sci-fi, but you don't like the hardest sci-fi, this is a great book to read where it's got just enough of the elements of hard sci-fi from like someone who worked in tech for a long time in Martha Wells. But it is also kind of structured more like a space opera, at least in my opinion. Like maybe not an opera, but you know, like a space fantasy kind of. It's not leaning fully and as hard as it could into the sci-fi elements. A lot of the stories about this fantastic world and the development of the character, and I just think there's a lot of fantastical elements to it too. But what do you think, Pauline? Is that all bullshit?
Yeah, well, like, so accessibility, I think she definitely wrote it to be accessible, but I wonder if like what percentage of her audience is female or like before it became popular, because it does read very tech bro-y, the first book. I have been working in tech for a while. and so I kind of, I mean, like, I think I kind of understand that. And so like, and it's also called Murderbot. So like, I don't know if like ladies would want to pick that up at first glance. I think maybe now that's more popular. Maybe there's a bigger fan base that are female, but then like also, you know, the intention is for the robot to be gender neutral, but the reader is of audiobooks is a dude, and then the face on the Netflix is a dude. So I wonder if it's like really doing justice to the book. I definitely to like agree. Do that. You know, like, I mean, I think they like, because since the books were the story was created on Netflix this year or whatever recently, they probably could have gotten someone from like that was like non-binary, you know, maybe or whatever, like make the look less male oriented. So that's
not Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skarsgård, he did an awesome job.
Yeah,
you can do worse than a Skarsgård.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
for sure,
yeah,
I 100% agree with Pauline that like the first screenshot I saw of his face as like Murderbot, I was like, who casted it? This is idiotic. Like Murderbot is like has no gender. That's like the whole point. You know, he doesn't understand. It doesn't understand this stuff, and then you're gonna cast a white, very male looking lead in that character that could be anything, like could be any skin color, could be any, you know.
Yeah, they don't even like
gender orientation
specify they don't even specify like anything about Murderbot's appearance in the books. So you could really go wild with that.
It does definitely feels like a missed opportunity. Did you all read Murderbot as like kind of a? Did you see a male when you saw like the human aspects? Because they do have a face and everything and hair. I read Murderbot as female, but maybe that's because I was thinking it was Martha Wells and it was never defined. So that's possible. But I did kind of read Murderbot as a female just naturally. I'm not sure why. Did you guys experience that?
Yeah. Like I imagine them as androgynous,
Mm-hmm.
and then or even because I don't think the parts are all from the same person. So like parts could have been this like different skin colors and different tones. Like
there was even a part in the fifth book where he says where they say that Murderbot's skin tone isn't totally consistent across their body. It's mostly, but like not really.
Yeah,
so
which is interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think publishing like sometimes is obsessed with that and like gender, like what it is, like who this person is, and then defining it in a certain way. So it's pretty like forward that she wrote this like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, I agree, and it was definitely a swing to take, and she takes it all the way through because she even uses unconventional pronouns and stuff. Like when I first read I don't know how you pronounce TER as a pronoun, but she was using that pronoun, and I thought it was like a typo because it almost does look like she, or it looks like a reorganized she, and so I then realized, oh no, that is a very intentional choice. So there's a lot of thematic elements centered around identity and gender and everything that incorporates that for a living conscious being in these books, I think. But again, it's like it's written in such an approachable way because it's very much just from the inside of the skull of this Murderbot who is actively discovering itself. I don't know about y'all, but I find it easy to root for someone whose mission is like self-discovery. Maybe that's something I relate to, but I also just sort of see it as like one of the most morally righteous things you can do. That's kind of a big thing to say, but I do think like working on yourself and learning who you are is one of the biggest steps to like becoming a good human. And so protagonists who undergo that quest to me are always really relatable and empathetic. But I don't know, what do you guys think about that before we go to break?
I mean, I'm all the way
I think the awareness is like.
Yeah, go on.
Go, Pauline.
Oh yeah. I was saying I love characters that are self-aware or like made to be self-aware through the story arc that they're in, and I totally believe in that self-development as a crux to kind of going deeper in your writing and go deeper into your humanity, and I think this character is laudable. I think also they have that tinge of justice that people associate justice with robots. I mean, they're also like, evil, but also like with robots more because I think they think that programmers will program, algorithms and robots to do that. For some reason, I think people think that way because I think that's a mirror of like what they want to be also. But then obviously we're learning through real life. you have evil corporations, and then you're like, oh, they don't do that in real life. It's only in fiction.
Yeah. And then instead of training to be like this unanimous source of all dispensing justice, they're starting their own social media network so they can talk shit about humans. Because they've been programmed by humans on ChatGPT, like talking about their problems and having relationships with them. And they're like, oh, all right. It's a wild world out there. And, that's what Murderbot's going through. We're going to talk all about it on the other side of our 5-minute break. But Jeremy, before I go, I think you maybe had something to say on that subject.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it, like, for one thing, it speaks to, like, as I keep banging on about the relatability of the Murderbot, is that, like, I mean, for me at least, the hardest part of most things is figuring out what exactly I want from myself or out of life or whatever. And I think it's like comes across in the story that, like, in the first book, which I think I can agree is maybe the least interesting of the Murderbot series. Like, the first book is just stuff happening to Murderbot because, you know, he doesn't have the most it doesn't have the most agency. And then the rest of the series has the Murderbot happening to the rest of the universe and actually like affecting things and deciding things and still not fully knowing what it wants, but like just seeking out an answer to that and you know, following its own instincts. And it's just real good. Everybody go read it. Everybody go read it all, and then we can hang out and be friends.
Yes. And you'll know if you're like Colin if you only get to book one and straight throw in the towel. But yeah, we're going to be on the other side of this 5-minute break, coming back with a panel discussion of the Murderbot Diaries and just anything else cool that Pauline helps us discuss because she's our brilliant guest today. Everybody on the show, please go ahead and turn off your camera and mic now, and then I will throw on our video. We'll see y'all on the other side. Goodbye. Hello, Fermented folks. Welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the first of our new season, and I believe it's season 4. The show where we drink beer and argue with each other and bring on really awesome creative guests.
If you'll permit me to go a little bit outside the box. Once upon a time, apparently, people used to sniff mummy remains, powdered mummy remains, like cocaine. So I think 3 lines of powdered mummy remains, if you can get to that as well. Yeah, that'll get you right to really enjoy the movie, you know?
Dave told us all about making a mead, and I talk shit about Tom Bombadil, as I am wont to do whenever people bring up Lord of the Rings.
You would. You should.
And then that's
everybody
exactly what he
freaking
made.
chill about Tom Bombadil, or I'll get unreasonably upset.
So, in your assessment, what did you think of the everyone kind of paired off, or at least a number of people did, romantically? How did you feel about that? Did that seem really forced and dumb to you, or?
Tom Bombadil is a merry old fellow with his bright blue jacket and his boots are yellow. Right?
It's our yellow.
Right.
Imagine discovering mummy remains and oh my god, these ancient figures. Dude, what if we crushed this and snorted it, yo? I bet we'd get fucked up.
Let's talk for a moment about the fucking all-star cast in this movie. We have Ewan McGregor slaughtering it the entire time, main character energy, top to bottom. You can't argue with it. Women want him, men want him, everybody wants Ewan McGregor. Okay? If you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself.
Apparently she had a backstory, but they cut it because she's very hard-nosed at the beginning. And then I will say another pro of this movie is their chemistry is hot. And I feel if they didn't have that chemistry, I would have been ugh. Because she says at one point, she's oh, it's the apocalypse. What are we going to do? Fuck. And he's and then later when they are kissing, if they didn't have chemistry and if it was 2 lesser actors, I think it would have been an eye roll, felt cheesy, but you feel their bond.
The Langoliers themselves were originally going to be portrayed by puppets. And I think maybe they should have. Maybe they should have.
Dude, that's amazing.
There's no maybe about that.
And I wish that I could say that there was something greater happening here than the war diary of a broken man living as sort of this White Tower academic with all of his friends sitting inside the Eagle and Child drinking beer and pretending like, Magic Lion Jesus isn't really silly. Because, I mean, it is. If we can just all be very honest with each other.
The Lord's work out there. Good job.
I like to think that I am. Most people aren't big enough, but I am. I'm willing to step up.
Yeah, dedicate that time.
settle
You're willing
twice.
to willing to dedicate that time.
The time, the money, all of it.
Ah, that was so painful. It's one of those painful things.
Oh, that
I've
was
done in my
so
life.
good. That was so good. We've never been so savagely attacked by any author on their show. It's incredible.
Yeah. Fermented
Oh,
dance
yeah.
party. Let's go.
Oh, it's fermenting hard right now. Mm.
All right, Colin doesn't get to be in the dance party. You gotta show up on time. You gotta show
Yeah.
up on time. Flash
Nerd.
mob up here on
Mhm.
Fermented Fiction. We're back. We're here with Pauline Chow. Pauline, thank you again for being on the show. And as always, our first question is going to be directed to you. And then we'll all chime in as well if we feel so inclined. But Pauline, you brought this up in your debate. Well, you brought it up, and also it was like 90% of your debate. So I am genuinely interested to know, how does the modern AI landscape sort of influence your consumption of this book? Because when it was written and when it hit audiences for the first time, that was in a very different age, technologically speaking. And I wonder how it might have been affected for general viewership. Because I felt a little bit like, I was glad you brought it up in your argument. I felt a little bit of that too, where I was like, I don't want to root for this Murderbot. Like, that feels like rooting for AI. But what did you think about it, Pauline? Did you mean that stuff? Did it have a profound effect on your reading of this book, or of books like it when you go back and read them, or new things that come out? How does the AI affect your ability to read sci-fi in this vein?
So most of what I said in my debate is how I feel about AI. I feel like the use of
Right.
it right now is not in the right hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I like, for many reasons. I think there's other countries have a different basis for their society. Like there's like I think collective good that is incorporated into like their thousands of years of culture, and I feel like that has such a strong hold that they are implementing the technology differently than in the US, which is purely capitalistic, obviously imperialistic, and concentrates wealth, knowledge in a core group of people. And so I do feel like AI could have been used for in a way that's like more collective and more distributed, especially since the training requires using other people's information and creations and intellectual property. So, like that really is majority of how I feel, because it's like how it's implemented. The code underneath it, it feels like that's kind of like an inevitable evolution. And when I say that, I'm talking about the code and not necessarily the data that it's trained on. So that's one. And then also there's the like environmental impact, which I also think has to do with implementation, the speed of implementation. There's like forced speed of implementation that we don't have to participate in that. Like no one's even in business. Like I don't think anyone, programmers who are like one of the primary consumers of this, is asking for the speed. Like people at the top, the people who are benefiting the most, are asking for it. You know what I'm saying? So like we could slow down and like really kind of be intentional about what we do. Like maybe not build data centers all along the Great Lakes to suck up all the water, things like that. So I feel like it's like a process and decision-making thing that I struggle with all the time. And I am obviously caught in the system where like I have to use AI for work or like they will fire me. Like they said, like in one of my documents, I think in a lot of people's performance reviews, like you have to use it and you have to explain how you use it or like you do not have a livelihood anymore. So it's like this really, like I feel this pressure on me, but I don't use it for any of my creative work. I do use it to write some SQL code that I like they force me to do it. So I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, we don't know shit about that. And I was not aware that it was to that extent. I know a few programmer people who work in tech. To a person, I think they all hate AI. Like most people, the more you know about it, generally seems like even more you hate it. Whether you be coming from a perspective of creatives or a perspective of IT people, and obviously that's a broad sweeping statement. I'm sure not everybody feels that way. Not trying to say that you do, but I'm trying to say that you should. Exactly.
Yeah. Me too.
Hate it right now. Come on, guys.
Well, here's my argument for that, because they're offshoring their thinking process to AI anyways. So I'll just do that for you and just tell you not to use it. Like you can like it could be like a hotline. Like call if you're not sure if you want to use AI, you call this number and a human just dissuades you from doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a discussion with my friend about Cha-Cha. You remember Cha-Cha back in the day?
Absolutely not.
You text.
But go on.
No one knows about this?
Wait, was it from a movie? Was it from a movie?
Nope. This was like...
Is that something where you would like text something to Cha-Cha and it would answer your questions?
Yeah, like hardcore 2007. You didn't know the answer to something. Google didn't have an answer for it. And you texted a real person.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
number was Cha-Cha, and then they would get you an answer, and you get like 2 free ones a day. And if you wanted any more than that, you had to pay for the service. But they would answer any question, and you would just be at a party like, "What was that one thing?" And that week, that guy was in the movie, and it was and I can't find it. We'll ask Cha-Cha, and they would get back to you in like 10 minutes.
Okay,
that was the old AI that was human powered.
Yeah,
that sounds way more ubiquitous than it probably was from your perspective there. You're like, oh yeah, we'll just ask Cha-Cha, and all of us are just like, what?
Yeah, well then half of those questions are like, you don't really need to know that. Like you don't need to know that. Move on, do something else.
Right.
Yeah. And in my experience, if you ask AI something that you actually really need to know and you have some understanding of, it's not going to give you good answers that you can work. Like I learned programming languages to write macros for like Microsoft Excel because ChatGPT was not very good at it.
Right. Yeah.
So I learned to do it myself because that was a lot easier than trying to ask it the exact right question.
Oh, so I have another perspective of this too. Okay, so
do it.
So code is based off of binary, which in itself is part of a divination system called the I Ching right here, which I use, and it's basically you roll dice or you do something and you get either 0 or 1, and you do it 7 times, and then you get you get like a line sequence, and then that line sequence, if you look it up, there's like all this information about it. So essentially, coding comes from nature, okay, and the first woman coder was a woman, and so it has a natural progression that it's going to take. And then whether that leads to our extinction or our enhancement is kind of like, it's in essence it's faded. Not hard coded like, oh, it's going to be X, but it's like, it's like branches. So I feel like however we waste this like technology and waste our time on Earth, like that's like, it won't destroy the Earth. Like after we die, we'll just decay into the ground, and then the Earth will start over.
Right.
Yeah. So like, you know, like, yeah, we should fight whatever we want to fight, but like at the end of the day, it's like we're the ones that lose. So in a way, it's like this like Taoist principle, which I don't know how to articulate right now, but it's a kind of like, you know, life will do its thing, kind of like go with the flow type of thing. So like a little bit more optimistic tone to AI. So if you read the book, if you read the Martha Wells as like a branch of that fate, then like, yeah, that it has some optimistic elements in it, because like of how the robot is like, it knows what is right or wrong. And then because clearly there's people trying to do all this wrong stuff. And if robots are gonna just like become pure evil machines, then like there would be no good characters inside the books. But there are.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And I definitely agree with that principle. I think at least I know Jeremy and I both agree with that principle of by fighting all the time, you're definitely also losing your life in a different way, which is very, very interesting idea. But Jeremy, what do you think about this question? Does the modern AI landscape influence your reading of these stories?
I mean, personally, I found the modern AI thing, from my own experiences with AI, is almost entirely divorced from my reading of these books, just because the intelligence on display within these books is so much more advanced than what we had. Because let's be very realistic. AI and chatbots and whatever that we have now, they're idiots. They're big dumb dummies.
Sycophants.
And hey,
they can hear you.
I know. And hey, I love you. It's not your fault that you're a big dumb dummy. It's not my fault that I am either.
Yeah, we're dumb too.
But
we're dumb too,
hey,
chatbots.
Look,
Pauline probably isn't, but
for me, it separates it from even being close to the same conversation. If anything, these books kind of illustrate the different like levels and methods and variations of what consciousness can be, aside from like the human perspective, because I feel like I may not be the only person who identifies so strongly with the titular Murderbot. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a character latched onto by a lot of like neurodivergent people who don't automatically want the same things as their neurotypical counterparts and friends and whatnot. So that's more where I was drawn than the AI thing, which honestly still doesn't. There's no one-to-one parallel or correlation for me with that in any of the books that I've read.
Yeah, I think that's really fair, because the Murderbot books, they feel like they're a long ways into the future from where we are right now, where there is a true like there's a sentience there that is certainly not there in AI as it stands. And we kind of like, we still are seeing AI as direct plagiarism, especially if you're like a writer, right? It's pretty impossible not to. Or if you're an artist of any kind, a creator, someone who puts words and pictures and art out there, that is where all the other pictures and words and art are coming from. So it's impossible to separate it from that, at least for me. But I hear you, Jeremy. I had that AI thought kind of weirdly far into the first book, and it was something of an intrusive thought, you know, more than it was something I felt immediately. I was way more connected to the character struggle of the book, the relationship between the Murderbot and its controlling entity and its current clients, and kind of all these interpersonal social control mechanisms that it was shackled to, and kind of like figuring out ways to break those one by one. I'm always a fan of those kind of narratives. So,
blown up.
Did you guys hear that?
I heard like a little.
Oh, okay, great. Because there was a really loud ring in my ear. But
sick.
yeah, so I was more drawn into the character elements, like you were saying, Jeremy. And it's also, you know, it shouldn't be underplayed that like this is also a classic kind of like. There's a lot of shooting them up in this book. Like there's a lot of fight scenes, and it's a novella, but like there's several fight scenes. There's lots of like guns popping out of all of the Murderbot's orifices.
Yeah.
And
Very exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. Like it's a fast-paced book. There's plenty of fighting. Like your Murderbot is kind of trying not to fight, but it can't really help it. It's just in these situations, especially in book one, because that's literally what it's hired to do in book one. And I do love that early line from the Murderbot. I think that's something I like about it that sort of to Jeremy's point, separates it very definitively from modern AI to me. That line about it, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's essentially like, as a Murderbot, I was a massive failure. It was, it was like, I really didn't like murdering people. And that was like pretty early on in the Murderbot.
It's a great character flaw.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like when you go into a job interview and they're like, what's your biggest fault? It's like, I don't like to murder people very much. Yeah. Okay. That's one way to turn a fault into a pro, but hey, that's how you get through an interview sometimes.
So for clarification,
Pauline knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Murderbot's not a robot, right?
Yeah,
it's
I guess
synthetic hybrid of organic tissue and robotic inanimate matter, right?
Yeah, technically that would make it a cyborg.
So I would call it not a robot,
no.
which is why it has a personality.
No, but it distinguishes very clear. It's human, augmented human, and then look, robot. So it says that it defines it multiple times.
It's a type of bot.
But it's not AI. Does it have AI loaded onto it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to deactivate its own governor chip to watch
and
TV.
It also has like its organic consciousness, which in later parts of the series do serve functions like its brain, like its organic brain does help in like a rebooting process when like reloading all its memories. It makes it more effective doing that.
I mean, Battlestar Galactica did it first. All right. We have all that stuff in BSG.
Sure.
You're here. Let's bring it down here.
Right. It's not AI if it includes organic material.
Well, yeah.
I think this
because that is like a fundamental different thing, like completely.
I mean, it's its own being for sure.
Would you consider the synthetic robot in Alien to be AI? It's covered in biological material, but when it emerges as the villain, it clearly is completely beholden to its programming.
We have right now, which is really just what do they call them? LLMs. They're linguistic language mass models, right? Though that's not artificial intelligence. It's not self-coding, learning being that is existing in and of itself, conscious of itself. Like to say something is truly artificial intelligence in a sci-fi sense, like this is a robot and it has artificial intelligence like Data in Star Trek. Like to me, that's completely different from what Microsoft is rolling out with Copilot. They really shouldn't be lumped together, except to say that, isn't this interesting to compare these two things?
Well, I mean, in the real world, artificial intelligence is really just any coding that mimics human intelligence. So you have AI in like video games and chatbots and whatever else.
Yeah, I would say that doesn't mimic human intelligence. It mimics human language, but not.
And you can use language because of intelligence, Colin.
And it's a buzzword. Amazon wants you to think that this is artificial intelligence. It's language program.
Yeah. It's an LLM, yes, a large language model. That's it. This does pattern recognition very well.
Yeah, and I will harp on that point. Because I have a philosophy degree.
Well,
that's fair.
I mean, I guess it depends what you're using the body parts for, because now you can you can replace some small processing like microchips with human cells. So if you're using it as a part, would that distinguish it from being like actual humanoid or not? I don't know. This is a question. I don't have an answer, obviously.
Well, I mean,
that's a great question, because I would argue that honestly, the human body is just made of a bunch of parts. I mean, we literally have a bone structure, we have veins, and we have organs that are pumping fluid through us like a car. And that those organs only continue to function if we feed them fuel. And if you feed them good fuel, they work better. And if you feed them bad fuel, they get all clogged up and stop working. Like, it's definite. We're essentially a biological machine. If you're just looking at us from a flesh and bone perspective, right? Obviously, there's more to a human than that. Or you could argue that there isn't, but I argue that there certainly is a consciousness and an intelligence and a soul of some kind. But
yeah, I mean, we have laws against animal cruelty, but is a dog just an organic machine? Then you can't hurt it if I own it and it's mine.
Well, you say that you would, yeah, that's the argument, right? Like, at what point does AI cross that threshold? And I would say at Murderbot, that threshold has long since been crossed.
Yeah, I would argue Murderbot is like has consciousness.
Yeah, totally.
And I
sure.
think
You wrote all those books.
The first book is intentionally gray about where that consciousness comes from.
Where
in its
that's a
body
good point.
is the consciousness.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like, really, if we're doing our job right, like, Murderbot is a cautionary tale, and you should not allow human body parts to be used inside a robot. And then we would just never have that debate ever.
Great idea, Pauline. I don't know if the
elect me.
I don't know if the technocrats feel the same way.
No,
about
they
it.
don't. No, they don't.
No,
Yeah,
they're
the
more
first
like,
law in Dune, so,
shouldn't we see if it'll work?
Yeah, I know. How much
see
money
if
am I
it'll
gonna get?
work, and then all the corporations will pay you to get RoboCop like Murderbot was.
Yep.
True that.
RoboCop.
True that. It's on the way. All they need to do first is put us all in massive debt. Oh wait.
Oh,
here we fucking are. Tell me I get a fucking robot arm that can type for me 10 times faster than I can type for myself, and yet I can just continue to think humanly. I don't know, you know? It's going to be a hard one to turn down for a lot of people, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Call us.
Don't become a cyborg. Call the Pauline Chow hotline. We'll put that number in the comments as well. It'll either be Pauline Chow's actual hotline or just the number I got from the porta potties at the surf spot that I go to. One or the other. You know, it's up to you if you want to call it and find out. Either way, we hope that it helps. Colin, I have some other questions, but I know that you came in with, you were looking a little saucy, like you had a saucy take here, and that you wanted to pose it as a debate question. So would you like to put some of that sauce all over Fermented Fiction right now?
Let's do it.
drizzle that chisel all over the hizzle, man.
All right. Here's the question.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Porta potty sauce?
Porta potty sauce. That's what we'll call it.
Not to get lost in that sauce, but like...
Colin, please drizzle your porta potty sauce all over Fermented Fiction.
I feel like that's a t-shirt now at this point.
C.S. Humble, this is for you. This is to go on your face specifically.
It's for C.S. Humble and C.S. Lewis.
So
yeah, C.S. Lewis. And all of
very different.
Just pump it in his grave, yes.
Just pump it in there. He won't mind.
Here's the question, right? If you have read Murderbot, or right, my question is this: what does Gurathin look like? Picture it in your brain. Okay, what does Pin Lee look like? What does Pin Lee wear? Where do they hang out in the Hab? What does the Hab look like?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the different rooms? Is it separated into different rooms? Is it multi-floors? What color is their kitchen that they're using? What about Rati?
So your question is, you would like us to tell you what we thought each of those people looked like?
If you want to.
Why don't you go first? Because that's a little of a trap question, bro.
Me?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, I'll go first. What I didn't like about, I thought the premise of Murderbot was great, the first novella, and I haven't read the other novellas, but I was getting distinct vibes of White Room syndrome, where I was
Yeah.
getting completely confused as to what character was talking at various times because they all sound the same. And I was kind of confused. So I actually reread it. I restarted the book and listened to the audio book, and I was like, now that I think about it, I think the only character that has a description is Dr. Mensa. And that's it. And if anyone knows another one that's in there, say so, because I reread it thinking of that. Like, how many descriptions are in this book in terms of where they are and what's going on and who's talking and what they look like? And I think it's basically none.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
That was from my perspective. And to me, that was a big oversight and really threw me out. And the main character, Murderbot, is great. And the action is great. And the ending of the first novella is great as well in a big story arc. But I think there's a lot of missing world building. I should say there's specifically missing characterization. And so, there's another, you could say, oh, well, it's because it's a novella or because it's from Murderbot's perspective or something. But I think that Murderbot is very aware of surroundings and exactly what's going on at various times, and very observant of what characters do and how they do it. So I feel like Murderbot would describe the way people look and everything else. And I have another novella from Tor, which didn't win any awards, by Spencer Ellsworth, A Red Peace, which is a great novella, and I highly recommend it. He was on our show a while back, and I feel like that, you can do it. You can do it in a novella. So that's my hot take. Questions, concerns, comments?
Pauline, what do you think? How did the world building or lack thereof resonate with you? I have another question right off of this call, and so I'm glad you asked.
I would say character,
something like that,
and not necessarily world building necessarily, because to me, world building is different from. There's a lot of information about corporations and about the Preservation Alliance and stuff like that, and I think that's pretty good world building. But specifically, character, like what are the characters in the story? What do they look like? How do they feel? Can you picture them?
Well, like in this particular sci-fi, since it's in this world where there's like people are wearing suits all the time, and like I was okay with no description or less description. I think there was like 2 descriptions, like someone had like light hair and dark hair. I think that's all I really remember. And then I think, yes, in the novella she got away with not adding that. And I'm not always a fan of description. I think that's also. I always, when I write, I have to go back and do a specific layer for description because it's like not a natural thing for me all the time. Depending on I think if you're like obviously in a Gothic setting like that, you go hard with description, but in sci-fi area, and especially from a robot, like maybe they wouldn't describe the person. This is my own. When I was reading it, I was like, they wouldn't describe a person facial features. They would just do a scan of them. So there's a couple times he does scans. So then that's when he gets like their measurements, right? And so I feel like she made a choice also to be like, oh, I'm not going to give you like, maybe Murderbot is like, because watching like, I don't know, other sci-fi shows like Terminator and stuff, like they would like look at maybe your eye shape only, like it would be very specific to that robot maybe and to the algorithm to identify people. So I was okay with not having it. I did go into this liking the theme of like, kind of like corporate wrongdoing and like breaking from the system. So I think for me it worked, like the appropriateness of like whether or not to dig into description and then focusing on like the immediate concerns of the Murderbot, because especially the first one, like he's trying to get out. There's always like a mission you have to do, so that's like it's always really quick. He's never like it's never like chilling at the beach and like just like thinking about life. So then that's why it worked for me.
Yeah, I really agree with Pauline, Colin. I felt like the closeness of the character really brought it all home and made it make sense. And this is maybe my question afterwards, so I'll ask it then. But I think this is a good example of the book's ending having a lot of impact on the rest of the narrative, and in a really like simple and subtle way. But I think Martha Wells did that expertly. I also, just from reading her interviews and reading the second book, the second novella and stuff, getting an idea that she's very intentional about her choices around that stuff. So there's no reality that I believe. Because I mean, by the time she'd written this novella, she had written several novels. Like, she's a professional's professional. She's been writing since the 70s. And like, she did not do anything on accident in the Murderbot series. I have that sort of confidence while I'm reading it that these are all intentional choices, and I think that does skew my perspective of it a little bit, but I do still think it was well executed in that regard, just because and the ending says it all to me. Like, you realize this entire thing has literally been a log entry, and like, boom, it's gone. It also makes sense to me that the only character the Murderbot would describe in depth is Mensa, because that does feel like the only character that had a really profound, lasting impact. The Murderbot talks in the second book about Mensa, and I believe, I could be totally wrong about this, so if you're a Murderbot fan, let me know in the comments how stupid I am. That's okay with me. But I only really remember one character from like book one being called back in book two multiple times, and that was Mensa. So it makes sense to me that the Murderbot had like a special connection with that character. That was the character who actually worked to free her, or to free the Murderbot, and the Murderbot has a definitive memory that is very intentionally isolated structurally from the rest of the narrative. It's a tiny little like paragraph chunk between two blackouts, where the Murderbot doesn't remember anything, and it remembers Mensa like saying, I'm not going to leave you, make sure, and saving the Murderbot from like the battlefield. So I felt like that was actually really powerful, that was the only description. And I'm with Pauline. Like, I felt like it was fit with the character, so it didn't matter to me that it didn't describe people, because I just felt that it wouldn't. Now, if that wasn't very structurally baked in, I would have been right there with you. I did find myself like identifying the characters, and if I'd have debated this, I'd have certainly harped on that point as a detriment. But I would have been kind of lying. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys are right, except for Colin, obviously, because
yeah, fuck you, Colin.
Yeah,
fuck your question.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Get the hell
back
out
to
of
the
here with
show.
that. But like, as far as like physical descriptions of characters and more in-depth personalities and stuff, like, we don't know the answers to those questions because Murderbot doesn't really care. Like, it cares about Dr. Mensa, and it cares about like Garothan because it friggin' hates Garothan. Like, it can't stand that guy. And
Real
then like
bastard.
and then when you like get into like the like book 2 and book 3, when you get to like art, and it's like, well, that guy's an asshole. Well, that ship is an asshole. And Mickey being like, well, that's a sweet simpleton, but I don't want to say that I like it. It all, like, everything that the Murderbot chooses to describe tells you something about the Murderbot. It's all very intentional writing, and I think it does, like Clay says, betray a very seasoned and intentional hand, like just somebody knowing what they're doing when they're putting pen to paper.
Or is it overrated?
No, I think it's the thing I said.
That was.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Colin's
he's out. He's out.
He doesn't want to know our answer to that
Gone.
question.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't know if I would have picked this up on my own, and so like I don't know if that does that mean it's overrated. It's like, obviously a lot of people love it, and I know would I read more? I'm not sure if I would read more, because I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but like I'd rather read like other stuff. So yeah, so maybe it is overrated for me.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have read past book one, just because of how book one was. I still think it was intentionally written and well written, but it isn't my jam. I wouldn't continue to read if it weren't for the show.
You know, it's got to be your jam I find it unfortunate that I am now hooked, and I am to the part where they're exploring a little bit why the Murderbot describes the company as the company and not whatever the real name of the company is.
Okay.
Like it actually makes a point of pointing out like every instance where the company is mentioned, it edits out whatever the actual name of the company is
Interesting.
in its diary, and I'm like, what?
And that's an interesting perspective.
And,
I'm also like
Dr.
kind
Mensa and everybody comes back, so I'm like, okay.
Well, I'm kind of greedy with like sci-fi. I feel like there could be like more than one storyline. I mean, there is obviously more storylines here, but like watching Star Trek, I get so many more like storylines and like themes in there that I don't get with this book. I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
I get that. This one is basically trying to push one like sort of sci-fi philosophical question to its utmost extreme by just pushing it a little further in each installment, whereas with like Star Trek, they're trying to tackle a different very big thing in every single episode of the show.
Oh yeah. So like, how would this stack up in your like sci-fi queue, or like whatever rankings?
It'll be, I don't know. That's a good question, Pauline. Jeremy, I'm interested to know how far this is beneath Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Also, is Speed Racer sci-fi?
Well, Speed Racer,
I think it has to be sci-fi. Like, what
it's
else
got
could it
sci-fi
be?
technology, but I feel like Speed Racer counts as fantasy. But if we're counting Speed Racer as sci-fi, and I want the record to show that I'm not the one who brought up Speed Racer this time.
You're not. I threw this one on the tee for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Like for Murderbot Diaries, I would like, if we're putting these in a rank, like obviously Hitchhiker's Guide is my exact and absolute jam. Speed Racer is flawless cinema. So I would say Murderbot Diaries takes I'll say,
God, this is grueling.
It's top 10 easily.
Oh, really? Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Easily top 10.
Nice.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
So maybe I have to kind of go with Colin a little bit, maybe about some world building stuff, because now when I think about it, I'm like, oh, what do I like more than this? Like Star Trek, Firefly, and it's because they do a better job with world building. I mean, obviously those are shows, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's other things that are more interesting than this book. So like maybe the fact that it started as a novella, and like I don't know if the author intended to keep writing, that it like kind of limited her in the first book. Like if she was to rewrite the first one now that she knows there's a million books, and I don't know, would she like rewrite it?
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that at least according to the interviews I read, that this was not written as like a trilogy initially. She wrote it sort of from an idea that came from the conclusion of her other series, the series that was started with Cloud Road, the one we talked about in the Fermented Facts, her first big breakout novel. But apparently she was writing like a finality scene for that series, and she saw the scene of a robot in a like reboot chamber, and that kind of inspired the Murderbot. And then she just sort of like wrote it for fun. But by the time she was writing like the third one, she was sending it to an email and her publisher, because it was like she was very confident it was going to continue on. So I think she just like kind of kept rolling with them. But yeah, I don't know if she would rewrite it. For me, it's not. It's perfectly good, but I don't know that it's anywhere in my like top 10 or anything like that. It's probably not. Colin, how about you? You didn't even finish the first book, so
yeah, you already know my answer.
We already know.
Is it bottom 10 or is it like,
bottom 10
or is it like medium 10? What's your
I mean,
medium 10?
I don't have this list ready to go.
What's
here.
your medium 10? What a great list. We should definitely do like an episode where we all give our medium 10.
Yeah,
of the
medium.
genre.
It's
Oh, here, I have a hot take on this. This book
Okay.
is a good book for me to talk about with tech bros, just like I would talk about football with
There you
other
go.
people. So it's like kind of like, yeah. So not to put you guys on blast, but yeah, it's like it's one of those
that's
topics.
okay.
I mean, you know,
I just
there's
bring up
a
the
lot of people
Cleveland
that like
Browns
football.
Yeah. I just bring up the Cleveland Browns, and then people don't want to talk to me about football anymore.
Well, you guys are just part of the system. You're in the industrial sports complex fandom.
We are. We're all stuck
Allegedly.
in our programming, and we just can't help it. We do sure want to help those football teams win by
Sure.
screaming at the TV and buying everything the advertisements tell us to
Oh,
buy.
great. Oh, yeah. And then making your personality sports. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
Pauline, let's take it easy. We've definitely made our personality podcasting, which is
Everyone will tell you
not better.
that my personality is the sports. Are the sports.
It is.
It's sports.
It's sports. Okay, sports.
It is sports. Sports incarnate. You'll see him at StokerCon and you'll be like, wow, that guy's fucking sports.
He's so
That guy's
sporty.
sports. I'll be showing up wearing a jersey and a Letterman's jacket so that everyone knows how sporty I am.
Oh, great. And then we can play what's it called, flag football in the courtyard.
I mean, flag football is a delightful game.
yeah.
I would love to
that
do
flipping
a
rips, dude. Let's do
StokerCon version of flag football, like after everybody's drunk on Friday. That would be
God,
awesome.
yes.
That's something Fermented Fiction will gladly sponsor. The other thing we're sponsored tonight is Good Conversation, and it has been one. Jeremy, did you have a discussion question? Because if not, I have more.
I mean, no, you can go for it if you've got more, but
Oh yeah, I have this little book here, and
Oh,
I can
hell
read
yeah.
questions right out of it. They were written by actual intelligence, which is something I debatably have. So here's a question I had for you, Pauline. You are an author. You are an editor. I'm interested to know, and you've already kind of touched on it quite a bit, regarding the closeness of the narrative perspective in our Murderbot character. It's so close that our descriptions of characters, our descriptions of the world are highly subjective relative to the character and kind of like restricted in that regard in many ways. That works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. How does it work for you? And as an author, how do you approach that sort of balance? Like, how close do we want to be to our protagonist, and how do you analyze the effects that has on the world building, on the descriptions, on everything else you want to highlight in your thematic, like, relationship with the story? So I'd love to know your perspective on that as an author and as an editor. Like, how are you looking for it from those two different angles?
Oh yeah. I definitely read this book as a craft lesson also. Just like the way that you can, like, I'm sure you have these, like, there's some characters you just like immediately know their quirks, and then or you get a really good like first or two line into it. And so yeah, her like starting with Murderbot being bad at murdering is like just brilliant. It is like an amazing hook, obviously. And so like the first sentence in the first paragraph is like, sometimes if I'm not, like, if I need some inspiration, I'll just like flip through, go to a library or a bookstore and flip through the first pages of some books to kind of like see where like someone wants to jumpstart you. And I think this book also had a lot of info dumpy things, but they kind of worked for the character. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And then and I think there's like a lot of places where she juxtaposed emotion, like unexpected emotion from the character, and then with your expectation of the character. So I think that was kind of amazing, that her study of like, what did she think, at least for me as a reader, like how would you as a reader react to this sentence, and then how do I immediately kind of contradict that with some emotion. And I have some places flagged that I thought were pretty interesting. Yeah, and the info dumpy thing was good. I think it doesn't happen in the first like chapter, so I think that's also kind of interesting where she does it. And I really like the voice of the character. I think that was I think that shows like just her ability to embody this character as her own, and like, you know, however she does it, but like becoming this character and becoming this voice. I think that's the thing with like first person. You kind of have to be like the character that you created, and however you do that, you know, whether it's like some rituals you do, or like you have like, you know, these very like fancy worksheets that you fill out with like, oh, what's your character's favorite food, like what do they like to do on Saturday at 2 o'clock, you know. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then so then I think also she went full in on the perspective. A lot of my books I like to add a second perspective from a different character, so that's usually helps when it's third person. Then you can kind of switch easier and you're not head hopping. Yeah, I think I like that book. Another really good book that I like the first person perspective is, I think Bunny is written in first person, like a kind of like a weird girl horror thing, and then you see her, the writer, also flipping between like what she says something versus what she says is the opposite of each other. So like I think that was a really cool technique that they both used, but like obviously in different ways. And I can ramble forever. So how about you? Like what craft element did you love about this book?
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, like for me, I love the like how deeply into the perspective of this one character we get. In particular, I love this sort of recurring bit where we are given the difference between the literal time that has passed and how much time the Murderbot feels like has passed because of how uncomfortable the situation he's in socially, or it's in socially. And I think it works really well. It works really well in this series throughout, to my knowledge so far. And I mean, and the first person perspective can be really difficult. Like it worked for me in like the first Hunger Games book, and then I couldn't finish the second Hunger Games book because I'm like, oh God, with this again. But but like I don't know, it's just, and I think it goes back to like what Colin was asking before with like what feels important to the character being the thing that you are made to pay attention to, and it's just really engrossing, and with the character of the Murderbot making the info dump bits feel natural to the character, it's you know, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jeremy. And to dive just slightly deeper on a specific point of that, I like the intentionality. To your question, Pauline, the craft element. This book feels very intentional from first page to final page in every single way. Like I was kind of raving about the selection of that specific sequence between the blackouts. Those are like, there's blackouts throughout the book, but those blackouts are some of the only ones that happen in the middle of a chapter. I feel like most of the other blackouts sort of like precede the next chapter, but those ones are very intentional. And it kind of cuts you out of that like battle sequence that you sort of expected, which was like, how did they escape? How did they get away? And none of that actually matters to the story. So Martha Wells just straight trimmed it right out. And got us to the part where Mensa's like, you're coming with me. And Murderbot's like, where am I? And she's like, don't worry about it. You're coming with me. We're going somewhere else.
Perfect.
And even despite like Mensa's intentionality behind bringing Murderbot along at that point, Murderbot still saw it as like, that's a nice word for master, and had ultimately chosen to go on their own way. And then you have that excellent conclusion to the story, which sort of justifies all the limitations of the narrative to that point, which was, this was a log entry. See it in the next novella. And I thought that was fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
just the intentionality of everything, because
Yeah.
while reading it, I felt very much like you did, Colin. And it sounds like, Pauline, you had some of this too, but a little bit of White Room, a little bit of like, this isn't necessarily my jam for some reason, but I can't necessarily identify it. Why did this win 90 million awards? I was feeling that a little bit until I hit that last line. And then I was like, wow, it was all on purpose. And then when I went back and read it again, I was like, yeah, all of this was hyper intentional. And if you're an author, this is kind of I think a masterclass on how to do things on purpose, whether these things are your style or not. And again, totally not my style. I would never write this book. I would never write anything remotely close to this book. And I frankly, like, if it weren't for the show, wouldn't have read it, but I'm really glad I did. And this show's a great exercise in the craft for that reason. Like, we do a lot of things I wouldn't necessarily do. For the exploration of the thing.
Well, how many people do you think got pissed because of the ending? It's kind of like the "and it's a dream" thing. And you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Did you find that? Did you have that feeling with it?
No, I didn't because like, for this one, it's like, it still was real, but then it would answer some of my questions, because like the bot would be like, it'd be like present tense and then be like some past tense stuff. And then it's like, that was kind of what threw me off a little bit. And then I'm like, at the end, I'm like, okay, that's why.
Yeah, because
exactly.
I feel like,
But was the log
I
entry
think
addressed
the
to Dr.
difference-
Mensa?
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like that, to me, saves it from being the whole thing of like, it was all a dream, because it makes the things it has told you so far matter more and differently. Like, and it kind of forces you to wonder, like, oh my god, what now? And then it answers with a series of novellas and novels, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
That's an interesting take, Jeremy, because I do feel like I love epistolary stories, especially horror. I think horror works really well for epistolary, and I'm a huge fan. But the inherent flaw of epistolary stories is that somebody had to tell it. So you know that at least one of these characters is going to survive. Likely the main character, if not the main character, is like somebody very close to them who happens to be in the same room and be able to get the story out to you, right? Unless part of the story is that everyone dies and this is given by a supernatural entity or something, like in Sinister, right? But regardless, I love an epistolary story, though it comes with that inherent flaw, and sometimes that can be, somewhat off-putting, or maybe it can take away from the tension in certain stories. But I think Murderbot, it does a cool thing, which is like that line alone, and that is a single line, had a very powerful effect on me, maybe disproportionately so as I continue to talk about it. But it made the thing epistolary, like, in hindsight. And I thought that was very interesting. I suddenly looked back at the story I had just finished, and I was like, that's not even the story I thought I was reading. And it changed my whole perspective on it. I had to go reread it because I genuinely was not that impressed. But as I hit the ending of it, I was like, that movie stuck the land, or the book stuck the landing so hard that I actually read it twice.
Nice.
Was there any craft elements you liked in this story, Colin? That was Pauline's question.
No, not at all.
This fucking guy.
That's unbelievable son of a bitch.
I mean, we can't all agree. Then there's no tension in the podcast. Are you what's it called? Are you did they put you here intentionally to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just
pays me a lot.
He does this regardless.
Naysayer.
Mm-hmm.
He says nay because it sustains him.
It's Murderbot. The first novella is better than Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. That's the story that became Blade Runner. And I taught a sci-fi class, and that was one of the things we read. And it's honestly it's interesting, and it talks about simulants, and it's about like what sort of humanity would they have and what would it look like. And at one point what he like shoots one in the head, and I was like, it sort of doesn't have any information about like, well, was the brain in this thing organic or not? Is there blood or is it machine parts? Like, that's not in there. And I think really it's because it's a short story, which lets you get away with a lot of things, open to interpretation and imagination. But I feel like that story, like Philip K. Dick dashed off stories literally 2 a month to pay his rent for a chunk of his life. So,
Yay!
I mean, it was another story that got really popular. Virtually every story he ever wrote became a TV show or a movie or something. And some stories are definitely better than others. And that story, like, the movie is better than the short story for sure.
Well, like I actually like the story that she intentionally told you this is not about sex, because like, you know,
Yeah.
Murderbot has like
Love that.
has that option to
do
get
love
get genitals, and he's like, no, it's gross.
No,
Absolutely
don't be
not.
gross. Come on, guys.
Yeah. So I think that was good. It's like I wasn't reading it for that, you know. Like I'll read some other
Yeah.
stuff for that.
Yeah, it was a welcome relief to a lot of the weirdly horny sci-fi classics that I have had to read for this show.
I would say most sci-fi classics are weirdly horny for sure.
Just so many. Oh my
Look,
god.
it sells.
It's not
I
because it
guess.
sells, Colin. That's not why it's in there.
That's not why
it's in there
there.
because these are horny men who have spent way too much time at the keyboard and not enough time at the hotel bar. And getting laid or whatever it may be.
Yes,
but hey,
objectifying women was very popular. It still is.
absolutely, Pauline, you're right. That has not gone
Isn't
out
it
of style, unfortunately. Hopefully it will one of these days.
Yes, hopefully it will.
But
One day.
I unfortunately
One day.
do have my doubts. That's just cynicism shining through, or maybe it's history, maybe it's evidence.
Maybe
Regardless,
it's herstory. You don't know.
Well, Martha Wells is paving the way to not objectifying females or sex robots in a story.
Martha Wells is actively de-objectifying them, in fact, because there's just the one scene in the book, the second book, where there's physical contact, and Murderbot's like, why is this thing touching me?
Yeah.
And
Please don't.
the
don't.
ship's like, because it wants comfort, and so Murderbot makes their body heat go up. It's
Oh
very
yeah,
sweet.
Oh, but to save a person's life, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so sweet.
It was very sweet, yes.
Very sweet. Murderbot's got the best of intentions.
Yeah, not romancy though. No romance.
No,
Yeah.
actively choosing not to do it. And I do find that really fascinating. Now I did do this. This is me bringing up Game of Thrones, which should also be a checkboard, just like Speed Racer for Jeremy. But
Indeed.
one of my favorite lines in Game of Thrones is like, Littlefinger is trying to make fun of Varys for not having a dick and balls. And Varys is like, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. He's like, I get so much done now that I'm not worried about having sex. And it's a good point. You know, it's a good point. Murderbot's on the right track there in a lot of ways, I think. Speaking of being on the right track, we're going to put you on the right track now, because we're going to rate this thing in fermented fiction fashion, which is to say, it might not be that helpful. It's very subjective.
Probably won't help.
It probably won't help. It's not going to help you determine whether you want to read this, but it might help you determine how you want to read
Oh wait,
this.
hold on. Who's your audience? Do you ever take a survey? Like, do you know who's
No.
gonna be influenced by you? Or
I do not,
influenced by you?
Pauline.
Hey,
I do not.
in the comments, sound off who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
And let us know if this rating's
and your
been
social
helpful for
security
you.
number and birthday.
Please do that.
Mother's
too.
maiden name.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
swear
throw all that in the comments.
We probably won't steal your identity.
Travis has a phone that doesn't even have internet, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, he has the
just to point
dumbest
out some
phone
stuff.
possible.
One of our co-hosts has a phone that doesn't have internet.
It's true.
That's
He's-
awesome.
yeah.
He's the most protected against AI. He has that non-phone force field around
I mean
himself.
that's a trend now. Going back to brick phone.
Yeah, I don't blame him. You know, there's definitely a part of me that wants to do that, but unfortunately, I'm an indie author, so I have to have social media, and social media wants you to have a phone, because it's all integrated. It's all part of the grand scheme.
True that. Addiction. Yes, that's my. I'm addicted to TikTok, so that's my addiction. You can make fun of me.
There you go. We won't make fun of you for that. We might make fun of you for your rating system, but we'll find out. We'll see when we get there. Jeremy,
Okay.
you know how this thing works. How many drinks or substances of your choice or whatever do you need to enjoy the Murderbot Diaries to the fullest extent? How drunk should you
Now-
be, or how sober should you be? How whatever should you be? Go.
Oh, you should definitely be as whatever as possible. If you
Indeed.
have your choice between uppers, downers, and sideways, go sideways, definitely. But what you'll want now, you can obviously enjoy this. No substances required, but to enjoy it to its fullest, I'd say one drink a chapter. So that's I think that's 8 per book. So that comes out
eight
to
per
like
novella.
It's pretty.
8 per novella for this. So for these, that's 24. 24. Please be careful, everyone. Okay? And as always, go sideways. Not uppers or downers, just sideways.
Okay. Colin, what about you? How many did you need to get through this thing? Obviously, you had a different struggle than the rest of us.
I think you need to get 3 of your best friends, and you need to get the shittiest car that any of you have that still has a stereo system. And you plug in whatever device it is you're listening to the audiobook on, and then
We're talking about like iPod with the aux cord, by what
ideally,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, which I
The
definitely
aux cord that goes into the cassette player.
Yes.
If
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
And
cassette
then-
player converter with the aux cord adapter hanging out.
Yep, and
Bro,
you're
that
gonna
was
go.
my lifeline.
You're gonna drive to Casper, Wyoming, and you're gonna drive up
Am
the
I?
closest logging road up to the top of the hill, and you're gonna get a nice view of the great city of Casper, Wyoming.
Okay.
The moon will be shining. It'll be a lovely place. There will be a lot of deer around. Watch for deer. And then you're going to absolutely hotbox that car with 6 joints minimum and
Okay.
listen to this audio book, all 3 hours of it. And you're going to have a great time. Guaranteed.
Okay.
I had my doubts, but that sounds rad.
And you should also each have a 40-ounce malt liquor too.
I mean,
Malt liquor.
that
You're gonna have a great
essentially
time. It's
just.
gonna be a great book.
I don't know where
And
you
do it
were
2 more
watching
times.
me from when I was in college, but that essentially describes my college.
That is,
experience.
yeah, that's
So I
what going
don't
to
know.
college with
Classy.
Clay is like.
Yeah, I didn't come on this show to get attacked. Okay, but whatever.
No, but
Colin.
really classy.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pauline.
Classy.
That is, everything's subjective.
Look, it's the Wyoming way. I don't know what y'all did in Montana.
Nothing says
Montana and
classy
Wyoming
like
are pretty
getting
similar.
lit in an 05
You said
Buick
it.
Century. Okay.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a
like
it was a LeSabre. Let's fucking take
well,
it easy, pal.
weed
Okay.
wasn't that like easy to get back then. So you had to have you had to be like connected, and like
Yeah, you had to
Yeah.
like know a shady guy
yeah.
and whisper and slide some cash into his hand.
Yeah. Oh, cash. Yeah.
I was in college, so my weed dealer was not sketchy. You just had to go to the soccer parties, and it was fine.
Okay.
The soccer
Either that or
parties
you
were the
have to
best
text
parties.
the deaf guy. You
Yeah,
never
there
know.
was the behind the IGA guy that I occasionally had to go to, and he was definitely dealing more things than just weed. And that was a weird time to be a weed smoker, back when it was
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Already.
Of course, I never.
Yeah,
did
I only
it.
read about this in books. I don't know anything.
Yeah. it
No, I watched Chong and Cheech or whatever and did that whole
was-
thing.
Yeah, those guys.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, for me, I like your weed one there, Colin. I would, now that it's legal, I would totally go down that avenue of
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. I fully
Literally.
endorse going down that avenue at this junction in
done
my
it.
life, where
Yeah,
I would smoke
Never
some
do
weed.
anything illegal. Never.
Yeah, how
Allegedly,
dare you?
yeah.
Listen,
wouldn't.
if Murderbot would have followed that philosophy, where would Murderbot be right now? Murderbot would just be in a chamber, not even watching their favorite TV shows, and that would be tragic. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, smoke a joint, and read this book. I think you just need like one. Or if you like mushrooms, I think a little microdose of mushrooms would be a good time, because I am becoming more of a fan of that, and that's just a nice, really chill, easy high. And I do mean a microdose, like half a gram at most. And then just reading it with that, I think would be a fun experience as well. So that's my rating. Go easy on it, but something like that's just gonna mildly vibe you out.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a vibe read.
That makes sense. I think for this book, I definitely should have picked up hard liquor for this one. Would have been better. Would have done just like, shots of whiskey.
Okay.
Maybe with some hot chocolate, because it's like cold in the winter time. Yeah, that's really pretty good. But because it's so fighting and it's like hard, like that's the vibe I get like when I drink, that's why I don't like. But like anything with like psychedelics or like, herbs, it's like softer, and I don't really want to read. That's like that juxtaposition is different. Although I haven't tried it, so maybe it would be good. You know what I mean? Like opposites attract type of thing.
Right.
So then so definitely I would try the car thing. But now that I'm an adult, that I probably like upgrade my car a little bit. Like maybe
the audio qualities may be too good.
Yeah, put some pillows in there, whatever the situation is. Especially for my back, because when you're older, you have back problems. And then I don't know. It's like this is a book. Yeah, this is a book I would go running with. Like I would kind of get a natural high, and then afterwards, like maybe have some beer to like work, like like your joints hurt afterwards. I feel like that is kind of a good combination. You kind of have to have a little pain when you read this book for it to be good, because like people are fighting, they're dying, they're somebody had their face ripped off and that's glued onto like a cyborg of steel type of thing. So I think if you want to like commiserate and embody this character, because you're reading in first person, that you need some pain. So like alcohol, running, I don't know, like walking barefoot in some glass, maybe like a little bit. And I think that would be because like, because people walk on hot coals, and it gives you like a psychedelic experience. So that's what I'm trying to like suggest for this book. If you wanted to read in optimal state, because then you become the Murderbot.
I am all for it.
I love that.
This is what I'm going to do for the next one.
Like, I would refute that, but like,
Murderbot too.
Yeah, I would refute that, but I have been reading this with a broken ankle and torn ligament, and now the number of screws in my body has been upped from 22 to 23. Damn. So like, but I think your assessment makes too much sense.
You're closest to an augmented human than any of us. Although
so I'm more
I
machine now than man.
I've been saying it for years.
I don't know your medical history, so HIPAA. I'm not asking.
He is 100% the most augmented.
10 fused vertebrae, and now another screw in my ankle.
Is it because you were sportsy?
It's because I grew wrong like an idiot.
You what?
I grew wrong.
Oh, you grew wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, you grew right. You grew right,
if you will.
You grew right because so that when the robots come take us over, maybe they will keep you alive because you're part robot.
I could be an ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, see? Save us.
They'll run that scan and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's cool."
Save us, Jeremy. Save us.
Ambassador, we're cooked.
He's the Colin, can you just...
That's that.
Okay. All right.
Do you feel prepared for that responsibility, Jeremy, to be our ambassador?
Yes and
Human race.
no. It's gonna go bad for a lot of people, but the people it goes good for, it's gonna go really good.
Well, yeah, because they'll be alive,
Yeah, right?
theoretically.
Or
Yeah.
maybe that's the worst part.
Maybe that is the worst part.
Allegedly.
Immortality is certainly a curse.
Certainly. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We wouldn't want to curse y'all with having to continue listening to me and Jeremy's ramblings, and certainly not Colin's. But Pauline's, probably. You can go on and listen to a lot of her ramblings elsewhere, I'm sure. Pauline, can you tell everybody, the good fermented folks of the literary realm, where they can find you, and once again, just sort of who you are and what you're up to right now? What do you got coming out? What are you pushing? Where can we find it?
Oh, okay. You can find me. I have a website, paulinechowstories.com. I'm on Blue Sky mostly, which is I'm just Pauline Chow on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram also, Pauline Chow Stories. And I'm querying some stuff right now, so hopefully I'll have some news in a couple of months. But I do have a short story coming up in a gaming magazine by Demagogue Press, which is based out of Portland.
Cool.
And then it's like a short kind of horror story, and it's paired with some board games that are inside the book. I don't know how to properly articulate the gaming. Oh, Gamezine, and it's called Nat 20 magazine.
Okay.
And I'll send you the link. The editor and owner of the publisher is Frances Pi Ippolito.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and she also has a story in Coven of the East, and then these books, Tasting Moonflowers and Coven of the East, are available everywhere. I'll have a short story coming out with Space and Time in
nice.
March as well. So look out for that, and it might have been influenced by the Murderbot. I don't know.
Okay, nice. That's awesome, Pauline. Congrats on those great publications too. You deserve it. Love your short stories. I would also recommend, just speaking of Pauline's short fiction, Good Night Nobody. This small chat book. It is very pocket. It's literally pocket sized if you are wearing man pants, because we get huge pockets. And this book is a fun chat book of like poems of very short flash fiction pieces, and it's great for reading at open mics. So if you like to go to open mics and read stories, this would be a good one to just have in your pocket. You could learn a story. There's some in there that are a few pages and some that are like one page. Some that are like basically a couple paragraphs. You could definitely go and read those on stage, and it's very fun. I've heard a lot of them read because I did an open mic for readings for a little bit, and I brought this as one people could read, and people picked it a lot. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and then the audiobook for that will be out this year too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've been taking some acting classes, so I'm going to narrate it.
You're narrating your own book?
This one. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait to hear that. Sweet.
Fun.
Let us know when that comes out, and we'll definitely share it in the newsletter and the channel, everything like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Pauline, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We hope you had a good time. And as always, audience, I got to go out with a quick little plug here. Please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We are an indie-produced venture, and we need all the help we can get. You can find us at Instagram. All our links and stuff will be in the show notes. And we would really appreciate if you go check out our Patreon. Travis put a lot of hard work into it. There's a lot of cool perks up to, but not only including like a writer's retreat. So we're working on all of that kind of stuff, but we do need help to do it. If you love this show, go check it out. If you don't, show the show to your enemies and see how they react. It'll be a good time.
We're fine with them helping us out.
Absolutely. Maybe we can even trick them into joining our Patreon. You can be a part of that. You can make your enemies pay us $100 a month. So I'm just saying, something to think about, something to go out there and maybe do. And like I said earlier, at Bainbridge Brewing, if you want to sponsor us or anybody like you, here we are. That one was free.
Hey, get in there, man.
Get in there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Seriously, this has been Fermented Fiction. We love and appreciate you all. I'm Clay. That's Jeremy. That's Colin. Pauline, thanks again for coming on the show. We'll see everybody next week. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye. Thank you. It was just super fun.